Okay, so I've got to replace the battery in my Zero Yeti 150. I've noticed over the last 6 months that the battery life in it isn't like it used to be, and I don't let it drain all the way. And last night I had several things hooked up. I had a laptop hooked up to it, had a cell phone hooked up to it, and my Apple Watch. So it was fully charged. I charged it before, and probably about an hour, and it was completely dead, completely drained. And I don't have my charger to put in it to recharge it. So I went ahead. This is the battery that was in it, and it's been a good battery. I think I bought this, or I got this thing about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I use it almost every day. So let me show you which battery I put in it, and I'll kind of show you how to demonstrate how it all goes together. I start by making sure everything's off, and this is a 5/32 Allen, and I just remove all 4 of these top bolts. Now I've already replaced the battery. I'm just doing this to show you. It's also a test because I had video post last night, and I think it was an internet issue, and it wouldn't publish. Oh, just lift the top off. I ended up going to batteries plus. There's your terminals. Ended up going with a Duracell. It's the same thing as the one I had. They're pretty heavy. I tried to get a lithium, so when I plug this up, I'm putting the positive on first and the negative on, and it gives me an audible beep. It's actually pretty simple. I mean, there's not a whole lot to these things. That circuit board and the charging and how everything else plugs in is where all the magic happens. I like this little Zero Yeti 150. It's small. Well, we carry it all over the place. We take it everywhere. I took it camping a couple weeks ago, and I'm just snugging these down. I'm not trying to wrench them down as tight as I can. Check that the power comes on. Power comes on. Don't know why it's at 40, but it's at 40% for some reason. It was full a little bit ago. Also, I haven't charged it. This is right out of the box, installed, and so when I get home, I will fire this one up. Now, this is an older unit. They make, I think, the 400, and I mean, they've had so many different models, but I mean, this one has done me really good. I mean, it's a really good little unit. It's heavy for the battery, but it's not. I mean, some of those other units are so big, and you got two USBs, 110 and then a 12 volt, which I usually end up using this for my laptop. So I charge this right here, and this is what I use the most. Alright. That's the Gold Zero Yeti 150 battery replacement. Just thought I'd throw that out there and show you how I did it. Like I said, the original battery was just slowly losing its power. Alright. Hope you enjoyed the video. Click like and subscribe. See you on the banks. Also, be careful of when you're putting these on and taking them off. As you can see now, it is fully charged. And what I did is I went ahead after I filmed, I took it all apart, and I was like, something that didn't seem right. So I hook up the positive, I disconnect the positive, and I disconnected the negative. Well, this has still got power running in it, so I turned on one, and you can see it drain down. Well, then I came over, I hooked up the positive, and then I hooked up the negative, and you heard an audible click or an audible beep. Well, when I did that, the first time I did it, I hooked up the negative and then a positive, and this was showing nothing. Well, I took it off, turned on the button, watched it drain down. I hooked up the positive, then I hooked up the negative, and then I turned it on, and it's at full. So there's a proper procedure to hook these up. Hook the positive up first, then hook the negative up. When I hooked up the negative first and then the positive, you could hear a spark, and it just sounded like everything was coming on all at once. So let's disconnect the negative and then the positive, hook up the positive, and then hook up the negative, just like you would jumping off a car.